Republican presidential candidate Mike Pence is the first from the field of potential Biden challengers to visit the war-torn country of Ukraine during this campaign season, and he met with President Volodymyr Zelensky in person. It comes as Pence looks to differentiate himself from other Republican candidates, including Donald, who wouldn't say who he thinks should prevail in Russia's war, as well as Ron DeSantis, who called the war a territorial dispute before sort of walking that back. Earlier in the day, Pence visited a community on the outskirts of Kyiv and spoke with local families. He reassured them of the United States' support. He capped the day with brief remarks to reporters where he spoke about his visit and his meeting with President Zelensky.
As I learned from President Zelensky and his security team, the Ukrainian military is making steady advances against the Russians. And I assured him that for my part, we'll continue to do everything in our power to make sure that we provide the Ukrainian military with the support they need until they repel the Russian invasion and restore the sovereignty of this country.
And joining us now, correspondent for Bloomberg TV, Anne-Marie Horton. Anne-Marie, great to see you again. So the NATO summit in Vilnius, Lithuania, just about 2 weeks off. Obviously, the war in Ukraine, first and foremost, the center of attention. But there is some tension in terms of what Ukraine wants and what the West has been willing to give them, and especially now in this sort of pivotal moment where we've seen the chaos in Russia, but also pretty slow going from Ukraine's counteroffensive.
Right, and this tension has been there the entire time and will continue to exist as long as this war exists. Ukraine is always asking for more, right? So they got the HIMARS, and now they're also asking for another long-range missile system. The Wall Street Journal's reporting that potentially this is under discussion, but we've seen the U.S. drag its feet with some of these weapons, especially when they do not want a scenario where potentially you can hit inside Russia and escalate this conflict into something broader and more volatile. What Ukraine wants at NATO is what they've continued to be asking for. And Oksana Markarova, the Ukrainian ambassador, was on Bloomberg yesterday, and she talked about we want more weapons, we want more aid and support to Ukraine, and we want more sanctions on Russia. At the same time, they're also still trying to get in not just NATO, but also the European Union. They want to be part of, quote unquote, the European family. And Zelensky spoke this week, and a little bit of a dig. He said it is absurd that these leaders continue to look behind their shoulders, meaning looking to the Kremlin, and are concerned. So they are going to push it as much as they can, especially right now, while we are seeing some of this turmoil in Russia.
So let's get into that. I know you've been covering it so closely. What's your latest assessment as to where things stand right now in terms of Putin's grip on power and the changes you've seen in the Kremlin?
Well, look, for what the Kremlin is trying to do is very much have this is business as usual approach. This is mundane. Putin's going through his normal procedures. There are some interesting nuance to look at. One is that they are starting to beef up the Russian National Guard. This is led by Putin's former personal security guard, and they're giving him tanks and weapons he had been asking for. So you can look for some of these nuances. We also have not seen from Sergei Sorovokin. This is a general that is being questioned on whether or not he had this help to Yevgeny Prigozhin, who led this mutiny over the weekend, halted mutiny. He's an interesting player because he has been part of the Russian military apparatus for years, and he's known as General Armageddon for how brutal he was in Syria. So there's a lot of things to really be watching for. I would actually look at what happens to Wagner now. Putin had talked about that. It's the Russian budget that Wagner gets their money from. We've all known this for years, but Putin was very direct about it this week. And even overnight, there was some drones at a military base that Wagner uses in Libya. What happens to Wagner now and all of their work in Africa? Are these generals, are they beholden to Prigozhin, who's potentially going to try to keep this together from Belarus, or are they loyal to the president?
We haven't heard from Prigozhin in a couple of days. Lastly and briefly, let's turn to China. You've had some new reporting there. China, of course, has been somewhat supportive of the effort there in Russia. The U.S. in relations with Beijing have been certainly very tense, maybe a step in the right direction with the Secretary of State's visit. What's the latest you've heard?
Well, so we've reported, Jenny Leonard and I at Bloomberg, that Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is set to go in early July. So July is next week. So at some point starting next week or beyond, we do expect Janet Yellen to be in Beijing. It's going to be an interesting time. I know you were just talking about this earlier in the program regarding NVIDIA. It's going to be a hard line for her to walk. At the same time, she's trying to have this dialogue. She said on MSNBC that we have to get to know each other. This is a new vice Chinese premier that she's going to be meeting with, who really runs the economy out of Beijing, He Lifeng, replacing Liu He, who she had a relationship with. But at the same time, the U.S. is, one, looking at more export controls on semiconductors that can help China's AI industry. And also, they're beefing up the work on outbound investment, that executive order we've been waiting for. And potentially that can come as soon as July, the end of July. So for the Treasury Secretary, it's going to be a difficult one.
Yeah, and the White House still hopeful of a meeting between President Biden and President Xi later this year, maybe at the G20 in India in September or in November at the Pacific State Summit in the United States. Correspondent for Bloomberg TV, Anne-Marie Horton, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. And thanks to all of you for getting up way too early with us on this Friday morning.